Happy Sunday. Yeah, man, I'm late. Not too long rolling in, but all of those things and all of that, guys. And I'm like, guys, running a bit late. But nevertheless, happy Sunday. We will say it's a lazy Sunday. Yay, yay, yay. Roll up. Yeah, okay, guys. So just here. How was your Sunday morning doing so far? I hope everyone is well, getting a little break. Sunday fun day, and all of that, guys. All right. I hope your weekend has been truthfully grateful for you and a relaxed day, relaxed weekend, rather. So we shout, pull up in the YouTube. Where is my audience? Pull up in the YouTube. Here's your content. Pull up in the YouTube. I'm running a bit late. Pull up in the YouTube. Where is everybody? Pull up in the YouTube. Where is my audience? Pull up in the YouTube. No feelings them I carry. Pull up in the YouTube. Don't forget to like. Pull up in the YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Pull up in the YouTube. Don't forget to share. Pull up in the YouTube. Me here to drop the content. Pull up in the audio. I watch nobody. Pull up in the audio. Here is your content. Pull up in the audio. Where is everybody? Pull up in the ladder. Enough content we are carry. Pull up in the YouTube. Don't forget to like. Pull up in the YouTube. Where's the audience? Pull up in the audio. I'm here to pack your content. Pull up in the audio. I am here. Pull up in the audio. Where is the audience? Pull up in the ladder. No feelings them I carry. Big up for the nice clean self in the people. Right here we're going to NASCAR, Michael Jordan, and all of that, guys. So I'm going to drop the content quick and fast, and then we're going to talk about many other topics, although I am late. So thank you for stopping by. When you reach here, when you end up in the audience, end up in the chat, seriously, in the phone. Seriously, guys. So good morning. Let's unpack this content quick and fast, which I was supposed to unpack earlier, but girl, just a roll in the snow. Michael Jordan and Joe Gibbs' daughter-in-law to testify in NASCAR antitrust case. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So my thing is, we know when these guys take on these big industry or take on these big people out here, problems and trouble follows all the time. So do you guys think this is a great move or a good move for Jordan to come and take on the big bad NASCAR race car company? You guys know NASCAR? NASCAR with the NASCAR with the sports of the cars, racing and all. Let's unpack this quick and fast, okay? Charlotte, NC, Michael Jordan and Joe Gibbs' daughter-in-law were expected to testify on Friday on the fifth day of the federal antitrust case. The Basketball Hall of Famer filed against NASCAR over claim that the series has acted as a monopolistic bullies. No, sir. Heather Gibbs and Chief Operating Officer of Joe Gibbs Racing wrote an impassioned letter to NASCAR Chairman Jim France in May 2024, imploring him to make charters permanent for the sake of strengthening the family business. The charters are equivalent of the franchise model used in other sports and in NASCAR. It guarantees every charter car a spot in all 38 races, plus a defined payout. Yes? From NASCAR, the system was created in 2016, and during the 2+ years of bitter negotiations, on an extension team begged for the renewal charters to become permanent. When NASCAR refused to make them permanent and gave the team 6 hours in September 2024 to sign the 112-page extension, 23XI and Front Row Motorsports were the only two organizations out of the 15 to refuse and instead file antitrust suits. So that's why we're here now. with Michael Jordan against big NASCAR. 23X1 is owned by Jordon and three-time Daytona 500 winner Denny Hamlin, and Front Row is owned by fast food franchisor Bob Jenkins. Yes? The Discover phase of the trial revealed a letter Heather Gibbs sent to France, who is now chairman of the series his father founded 76 years ago. We have put 32 years into investing and building a dream, building careers, building families, and building NASCAR. If the financial model made sense, we would not had to work with an outside investor, she wrote. If our teams were financially healthy and did not solely rely on sponsorship, I would sleep better at night, not worrying about when the torch is passed on. All right? We have invested not only our time, but our family in this sport. We have raised champions and buried their leaders, all while continuing to embrace the historical roots of NASCAR. She continued in the two-page emotion-packed letter. So with all due respect, please understand that when you tell us it doesn't make sense to partner with us after 7 years is dejecting and truly disappointing. The letter came up in Thursday testimony by NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell, who was called as an adverse witness. Okay? O'Donnell, in a text message, told Ben Kennedy, nephew of Jim France, Jim is now reading Heather's letter out loud and swearing every other sentence. Oh no. Pressed by plaintiff attorney Jeffrey Kessler as to what France was saying as he read the letter, O'Donnell said the chairman never saw. Kelsey tried to force O'Donnell to reconcile what he wrote to Kennedy, but O'Donnell maintained that his boss was not cursing. That what I wrote, but he was not doing that, O'Donnell testified. We were all taken back by the letter, and I think him was frustrated as we all were. Joe Gibbs ultimately signed the charter agreement, but Jenkins testified his rival team owner apologized for doing so. On Thursday, Kessler attempted to portray a France as a brick wall. In negotiations, the teams had made specific requests in an attempt to prove their financial position, but the deal ultimately given to them on the eve of the start of 2024 playoffs lacked most of their asks. NASCAR was founded in 1948 by the late Bill Francis Sr., and to this day is privately owned by the Florida-based family Jim France, his youngest son. Kelser had a continuous session over more than 3 hours with O'Donnell, and at times was shouting at the executive. He used internal communication among NASCAR executive to demonstrate frustration among non-France family members over the slow pace of negotiations and Jim France's refusal to grant the team's permanent charters. The internal communication among executives showing the mounting frustrations over the prolonged negotiations as O'Donnell Commissioner Steve Phillips and others and concessions for the teams. They all indicated that they were met with resistance time and time again by France and his niece, Vice Chair Lisa France. Mr. France was a brick wall in the negotiations, Kelser said to O'Donnell. These are your words, not mine, the executive replied. Earlier Thursday, O'Donnell testified that teams approached the body in early 2002 asking for approved revenue model, arguing the system was unsustainable. O'Donnell was at the meeting from 4 teams who asked that the negotiation window on a new charter agreement open early because they're fighting for their financial survival. The window was not supposed to be open until July 2023. O'Donnell testified that in the first meeting 4 times series champion Jeff Gordon, now vice chair of Hendrick Motorsports, asked specifically if France family was open to new model. Kennedy, great-grandson of NASCAR founder, told Gordon yes, but O'Donnell testified that the chairman France was opposed to a new revenue model. The extension that began this year upped the guarantee money for every chartered car to 12.5 million in annual revenue from 9 million. Hamlin and Jenkins have both testified in cost 20 million to bring a single car to the track for all 38 races. That figure does not include any overheat, operating costs, or driver's salary. And Jenkins admitted he doesn't spend that much. All right? NASCAR has argued it has been huge improvements for the team and it works to grow the sport. O'Donnell testified that NASCAR lost 55 million in the 3 years it held a race on the downtown street of Chicago and 6 million when it raced in June in Mexico City. But he said those events were critical in winding viewership and signing Amazon as a media partner. It was tragic investment because if not for that, Amazon would not have become a broadcast partner, he testified. Judge Kenneth Bell admonished both sides over the slow pace of the trial, which was initially expected to take 2 weeks. Kessler said he didn't anticipate wrapping up the team's side until the middle of next week. NASCAR planned to call Roger Penske as a witness. Penske, who is reluctant to testify, has said he's only available next Monday. Christopher Yates, lead attorney for NASCAR, asked that Penske is allowed to testify that day, but Kessler objected because it would disrupt the flow of his presentation. Bell sided with Kessler and told NASCAR to figure it out with the Penske because federal trials are an inconvenience. The judge also said stretching the trial to 3 weeks is not acceptable. And while he's hesitant to step in to push the pace along, he urged both sides to counsel their witness and stop making reluctant to answer even the most harmless question. Okay? So do you think Michael Jordan should take on the big bad NASCAR? The NASCAR cars, the sports, the cars, big people. Do you think NASCAR that was founded way in 1948 when possible black folks wasn't even able to play in that sport, do you think it's a good look for Michael Jordan to take on NASCAR? A lot of times when these people come out here, like the Kanye West that take on some of these big people out here, he faltered and lost everything, right? Like Diddy, who take on the liquor company and end up falter and fall way back in sexual assault. So do you guys think it's okay for Michael Jordan to take on big NASCAR that was founded in 1948 doing all of these big races? Do you guys think it's a good look? Michael Jordan is taking on NASCAR, the big race company. And I don't know if this is a good look. Although Michael Jordan is a Hall of Famer, do you think Michael Jordan is going the right path to take on NASCAR, the big bad car company that was founded in 1948? In 1948, when black folks maybe couldn't even go and watch that or participate in the race. So you think it's a good look that he's taking out these big people, or you think he should go sit down one side because nothing come out of most of the time when these black brothers go and take on these big bad NASCAR people or any other big people that are big out here. Okay, guys? So that's the content, quick and fast. I know I'm late, but I had to come and unpack something for you guys. Today's Sunday. If not, you guys won't even get a content. So I said, okay, let me come and unpack this content for you guys. Quick and fast. Pulling up in the YouTube. Now watch the body. Pull up in the YouTube. Where's the audience? Okay, guys? Quick and fast. Now, let's go to the audio. And let's get the whole story together. After I read this whole content, yes? So, guys, like I said, Michael Jordan is taking on NASCAR. Okay? So Michael Jordan says he wants to do all of this. So let's get to the audio quick and fast. All right?
Athlete known for his ruthless competitiveness, taking on a beloved organization that the iconic Air Jordan says isn't allowing him to compete. Michael Jordan telling a South Carolina jury today, quote, "Someone had to step forward and challenge the entity. I sat in those meetings with longtime owners who were browbeaten for so many years trying to make change. I was a new person. I wasn't afraid. I felt I could challenge NASCAR as a whole. Well, needless to say, the jury and everyone else in the packed courtroom hung on every word. Even NASCAR's own defense attorney couldn't help but thank Jordon for, quote, making my 9-year-old think I'm cool today, as he wrapped up his cross-examination of Michael Jordon. Joining me now is criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool and Bob Pockris, award-winning motorsports reporter for Fox Sports. He was in court and listened today to all the proceedings. Okay, Bob, what did the jury do when Michael Jordan walked in and took the stand?
Well, usually the jury, looks at the witness, then looks at the attorney asking questions, then looks at the witness again. I didn't see too many of them looking at the attorney asking the questions. They were fixated on the witness at the stand who went to identify himself. My name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Yeah, he's a huge star. I mean, there's just no way around it. Brian, if you're a lawyer in a court defending a client and you have to cross-examine Michael Jordan, what's your strategy?
Hey, Elizabeth, great to be back with you. You know what my strategy would be? My first question on cross-exam would be, hey, when this case is over, can I get your autograph?
Oh,
to try
shit.
to bond with the jury, right?
You and the judge, probably.
Exactly, and all the jurors as well, right?
Yeah.
But look, it's a challenge. It's a challenge in a case like this. He's from North Carolina, by the way, as well. Went to school there. But,
exactly.
But look, yeah, at
like
the end
college.
of the day, yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, though, I think this case is a little different than, for example, like the Johnny Depp case. Remember that?
Yeah.
Juror bonded with him. That involved defamation. Why is that important? Because his career was really at stake. What did his career get tanked because of what was alleged to have happened?
No, this is about a monopoly. Well, actually, Bob, explain to those in our audience what Michael Jordan is suing about.
He is saying that in order to have a premier stock car racing series, you need to have premier stock car racing teams, and NASCAR doesn't pay its teams enough for them to have an economically viable business model to go out and perform and put on a premier stock car racing product.
So why is it NASCAR's responsibility to pay teams?
Well, that's how teams make their money, from payments from NASCAR and sponsorship. And what Jordan's team is saying is that because NASCAR owns the track, because they force them to buy the parts and pieces from certain suppliers for their cars, that the only way for them to compete in premier stock car racing is in NASCAR. There's no other way for them to compete anywhere else, and there's no opportunity if somebody was to try to start a league to be able to do it at that level.
How is this different, Bob, from any other sport, like professional golf or professional basketball, like Michael Jordan competed in? To explain why that's different.
Well, it's much different than basketball, because in basketball, the teams own part of the sport. NASCAR is owned by a private company run by the France family. They're the ones who founded the sport
from 1948.
They say, hey, we just use good business sense and our business acumen to be able to have premier stock car racing.
So, Bob, could this tear the sport apart if Michael Jordan is successful to save a shot?
Yeah, if the judge decides the antitrust remedies, he could tell NASCAR they have to sell their tracks.
Oh, shit.
Get rid of the system that they use to pay the teams and say they need to bring up a new system.
Brian, have you ever seen a case like this, super quick? Have you ever seen a monopoly case quite like this?
No, I haven't. But look, I think there's one hurdle for the plaintiffs in this case and Michael Jordan. They have to prove a monopoly, which means that NASCAR controls the entire industry.
Yeah.
They're going to need to put on evidence that, for example, another venture came up and tried to start a similar kind of racing venture, and that was quashed by NASCAR. Because remember, in golf, you have LIV, L-I-V. They were allowed to come in and create a whole new venue to have golf. So I think that's going to be one of the hurdles. But look, it's a battle of balance sheets as well. And I think if it gets down to the balance sheets, then
So do you guys think that it's a good look for Michael Jordan to come up against NASCAR and all of that? So Jordan had to testify in the NASCAR case in regards of NASCAR and all of that, right?
Testifying at a trial related to a lawsuit He and the motor racing team he co-owns filed against NASCAR. They claim that NASCAR is operating as a monopoly.
Yeah.
Fox News' Chelsea Torres is live in Charlotte, North Carolina, where she has returned from New Hampshire and is colder now. Then, so Chelsea, Jordon testified today. What did he have to say?
Yeah, Tom, I will tell you that at least there in the courtroom is a little bit warmer than out here. But for an hour, Michael Jordon did talk to the jury, told the jury why he's suing NASCAR. He first talked about in his testimony about his lifelong passion for NASCAR. He also said how his dad would take his family to NASCAR racetracks, and it was a, quote, weekend family vacation. He says that he NASCAR's charter system and its benefits for teams, but says there needs to be a stronger partnership between those teams and the organization itself. Now, today was day 5 of this antitrust trial as those two motor racing teams duke it out against NASCAR. Michael Jordan's team, 2311, has problems with NASCAR's most recent charter agreement. It should have been signed in September of last year, but his team refused. Instead, they're suing the stock car racing company. The charter agreement does require NASCAR to pay teams a percentage of media revenue, and it also guarantees them a spot in a cup race. Now, Jordan emphasized he believes in the system because it does help give teams security if they're not able to get enough sponsorships. But he says a stronger partnership between NASCAR and the teams would help grow the sport. Jordon wanted to make it clear that he's not downplaying everything NASCAR has done for the sport. He just wants to help improve it. One attorney with experience with professional athletes says the charter system is the beating heart of NASCAR and could be damaged from this trial.
The problem that NASCAR has in this case is that not only did they lean slightly.
So do you think a company that was founded in 1948 that maybe people of color couldn't even go and watch or even participate in if you had billions, you think it's a good look for Michael Jordan to take on this private-owned NASCAR company and going to survive out here just like that? You guys think so? To me, it's a dangerous spot to sit in, but what can I say? What can I say, people?
Into the anti-competitive space, but they just jumped right into the deep end of the pool, in my view, and they went into aspects of absolute iron-fisted control that I predict is really going to give them a problem in this case.
Okay.
Now, the judge in this case even determined that NASCAR is a monopoly when it comes to stock car racing, but the jury actually has to decide if NASCAR is controlling the competitive market illegally.
So if NASCAR was founded in 1948 and they're the only one that does this kind of car sports, then you think it's a good look for Michael Jordan to come now, to sit down now and testify in this case, right? So breaking down the case of Michael Jordan and this NASCAR case,
Drama
okay?
in NASCAR, the kind less fitting of Sports Center and more likely to be found on court TV. 2 race teams are suing NASCAR.
You hear a lot in the media these days of like, this could be the biggest thing ever. But like, really, truly for NASCAR, this is one of the biggest stories in NASCAR history if this goes to trial. And the outcome could change the sport forever.
Jeff Gluck of the Athletic knows of what he speaks. He has covered NASCAR for about 20 years. We called on him to help explain what has become a really complicated story. It involves not just the biggest names in NASCAR, but one of the biggest names in all of sports. On one side, you have the France family. Jim France is the chairman of NASCAR. He is the son of Bill France Sr., the founder of NASCAR.
Yeah.
On the other side, you have Front Row Motorsports and 2311 Racing, a team co-owned by Michael Jordan and future Hall of Fame driver Denny Hamlin. Those teams are accusing NASCAR of being a monopoly. Well, today the parties involved were all at the federal courthouse in Uptown. The judge urging them to work it out and avoid.
So the judge is saying, work it out. But Jordan is like, hell nah.
Going to trial.
The judge has said, look, there's a lot of options available to me. If I find that this is an illegal monopoly and I need to break NASCAR up, essentially, you don't know what I could do. I could do much more than the teams are asking for. So the sport could look completely differently. You could make NASCAR sell all the tracks or have to have an independent officiating body or something. I mean, the whole thing could look completely different than we know it today.
Let's walk this back just for a second. So you got 2 teams, right? 2311, that's Michael Jordan's co-owned team. You got Front Row involved in this lawsuit. So what are they alleging? What do they want? Why do they want it?
So they're saying that NASCAR, listen, they've stifled competition from their view. They control all the racetracks, and they've made sure that if you have a NASCAR race at one of those racetracks, you can't have another event, they say. They say that the car that they're running, the next-gen car, even though they pay for it, they buy all the parts and pieces, it's a spec car, that still belongs to NASCAR in the sense that you can't take that car and race it somewhere else.
So is this suppressing revenues for the teams? They're not making enough money. They're not being able to be sustained longer.
So NASCAR is giving the teams more in this current media deal than they have before, but there's certainly an argument from the team that say you're not sharing enough. I think the biggest part of it for the NBA team, you own the NBA team, but in NASCAR, it's only a 7-year term. So you could lose that. The charters are worth right now about $40 to $50 million each in NASCAR. Yeah. So that's a significant investment for a 3 or 4 car team. And in fact, charters and make them even more valuable. But there's a hesitation of like, okay, wait a minute. An NBA owner, he doesn't have to worry about losing his franchise even if he runs poorly or whatever.
So what do we have right now in NASCAR? Maybe 15 teams, 20 teams, something like that? Only 2 signed on to this. Why haven't the others?
So yeah, I mean the other teams.
Could you imagine?
Said, listen, we went through a negotiation and we got to a point and we said, listen, we think this is the best terms we're going to get. I think Michael Jordan is coming in and he's a disruptor, right? And he's seen how the NBA works, and his right-hand man, Curtis Polk, has been with him all along, obviously in Charlotte as well. And they know what the model is like for other sports, and they think that should apply to NASCAR. And Michael Jordan is also a person that doesn't like to lose and be pushed around. So he's willing to go all the way, it sounds like. Jim France, who is part of the founding France family, also is not willing to lose and is very, set in his ways. And so you have 2 sort of titans of sport going at it here. And it's a matter of, is somebody going to blink first, or is it going to go to a jury trial?
I believe that, to be honest with you guys, I think this is going to go to a jury trial because NASCAR was founded in 1948. You won't even see a person like Michael Jordan there in 1948 or have a partnership in it in 1948. So I think that they have their belief and their behavior from 1948, that they own the sport. Certain people are going to be a part of the sport. Certain people not going to have partnership in the sports and all of that. That's the way I see it. And I feel like Michael Jordan is a powerful man. But I find that a lot of times you got to pick your battles, especially these big founder people out here that own these kind of things. All right? And all of that. So, what does it mean if Michael Jordan win this situation when it comes to NASCAR? So let's get to there quick and fast, okay?
The NASCAR season for now is over, and that usually would mean, there's updates in the off season. Not a lot, though, sometimes. This time, it's all about the updates that are coming about NASCAR, but it's not having to do with maybe a crew chief going to another team or a driver going to another owner. This is much different. We had Michael Jordan today in a court today testifying about his lawsuit against NASCAR, and really up for grabs right now is the future for 2 big teams or charters when it comes to NASCAR. So we want to help continue to talk about this and bring in someone that is so tuned in to NASCAR, continues to give updates really, not only when the season, of course, is going on, but the off-season as well. Bob Pockrass, Fox Sports NASCAR reporter. Great to have you on, Bob. And, this is such a big moment here for these 2 teams. What could happen if things don't work out for them in court?
Well, Mike, if things don't work out for the teams, if NASCAR wins this lawsuit, I don't see those teams racing in 2027. They'll try to make it through next year. They probably have some sponsor commitments, but unless something happens on appeal, if they don't win this case,
I believe if they don't win the case, they would never ever play NASCAR already. In the way how NASCAR is, the way I see it. Oh no! So which one you rather play all the time or don't play? Race all the time or don't race?
Them, selling their equipment and hope that their employees can find jobs with the teams that can buy by charters, which is NASCAR's version of a franchise from NASCAR.
And Bob, what was Michael Jordan like on the stand today, and what was he trying to convey in court?
I think he was trying to convey that he's Michael Jordan, right?
Georgia.
That's what you do if you're Michael Jordan. I think he conveyed that he is a co-owner of 23XI Racing. He is the majority owner of this team, and he is a long-time NASCAR fan. As a kid, he went to races at Talladega. He went to races at Darlington and Rockingham. He watches every race, and that's how his friendship with Denny Hamlin, the driver who he co-owns the team with, that's how it got started, that he would see Hamlin at Hornets games and start asking him about race strategy. So this isn't somebody who just like invested in a sport that they knew nothing about. This is someone who invested $35 to $40 million in a race team and recently bought one of these charters, NASCAR's version of a franchise, for $28 million and wants a little bit better economic model for his race team.
Now, before the suit, Bob, was there rumblings, in the sport about the breakdown economically for these teams, or did it take someone like Michael Jordan to own a team to say, hey, this is not all fair right now for everyone?
Yeah, so what happened is that NASCAR had a negotiation for its new charter agreement. A charter guarantees a guaranteed spot in the field as well as a certain base amount of revenue. And the deal was expiring after the 2024 season. And most of the teams, they have 300, 400 employees. And they don't have the resources that Michael Jordan does. And when NASCAR told them on September 6th, you've got to sign this deal. Yes, we've been negotiating for 2.5 years. It might not have everything you want, but if you don't sign this deal on September 6th, you're not going to get to keep your charters. A lot of the other teams were like, we've got to sign. Heather Gibbs, who is a co-owner of Joe Gibbs Racing, she was on the stand before Michael today saying, look, this is my family's legacy. This is what, I could not sign, or else I could be without a race team.
See?
And so it took somebody like Michael Jordan who's willing to risk tens of millions, if not $100 million, when you talk about overall investment, that, to challenge NASCAR on something like this.
And Bob,
so now you're here, guys. So you think it's a good look from Michael Jordan to challenge NASCAR, or you should take your car and just park it? The way I see it, because at the end of the day, Michael Jordan is a big guy out here, but NASCAR is big out here. So we continue to see how this penetrates in court, this pen out in court. What's gonna happen if NASCAR going to win or Michael Jordan going to win, guys? All right. So the content today is Michael Jordan up against NASCAR, the big bad racing company that was founded in 1948. That Michael Jordan father couldn't go. Nobody looking like us could have went or even owned piece of the NASCAR. NASCAR is owned by a private owned family and they don't want to bend when it comes to the rules. So Michael Jordan is like, hey, I got billions of dollars in this race and I own a charter and I own a car and I'm going to sue the hell out of you guys because you guys are not fair. Do you guys think it's okay for Michael Jordan to come out here now suing the big bad NASCAR that was founded in 1948? Okay, guys? So that was a story that I had to come and unpack on this Sunday, quick and fast, to give you guys a content rather. All right? From there, we want to go to 1 second. One second, guys. Waiting for this commercial. 1 second. Okay, guys. So we want to go to this situation where in UK about some kind of license and all of that. So let's get to there quick and fast, all right?
Offered up to £250 a month to sell their official test booking login details to touts and schemes which are adding to the already huge delays for test slots across Great Britain. A BBC News investigation has found how touts are using this access to bulk book tests, which they then sell on to learners for as much as £500. NJ Convery reports.
When I log on a Monday morning just before 6 a.m. to get in the queue to book a test, there are thousands of people in front of me, and by the time I get through, which could be after an hour or so, all of the tests have gone.
For the last 1 year I was trying, but now I have given up all the hopes and stopped even trying.
So basically, people are trying to book their test, their driving test, but it look like they're selling all of these. The instructors are selling and offer instruction kickbox. So they're saying that they're selling it, and then they're saying that they're waiting online for so long to book their tests. And because of all of this selling and all of these things that are happening, they can't book their test because the test is already sold for $500. Ouch. So is this illegal or illegal? Let's unpack.
To book because I know I won't be able to book a driving test.
Jesus.
Right now, there are more than 500,000 learners across Great Britain waiting to take a driving test.
See?
The only way you can book the test is through the website.
See?
Mehedi's a student. He needs a driving license for the jobs he's applying for.
I mean, there's no slots left on the website.
Okay, then we're going to take the next right again. 21-week delays have led many to turn to third-party resellers, paying as much as £500 for a booking, which would cost less than 75 quid. The evidence we've got.
So they can't get a booking, and when they do get a booking to book their test, they have to pay £500 because these people are selling booking spots. That should be illegal, but what can I say? Let's continue.
Driving instructors may be involved in these shady schemes.
See?
The system appears to work like this. Touts are paying driving instructors kickbacks of up to £250 a month in return for access to their instructor-only booking system known as OBS. Once they're in, they're using learners' provisional licenses to book tests, which they then sell on.
I've had an approach from somebody who wants to put a bot on my OBS system, and I've obviously declined, but I can understand how it works now.
Tests have been bulk booked and resold for profit for years, but these instructors say it's got much worse. How many of your students...
How do you sell road tests? So you have a road test that you have to do for £75, but when you go through some of these people, it's £500. Road tests? Government road tests? Driver's license that belongs to the government? Oh, UK.
Are paying these price scalpers.
Listen.
Every single one of
Without
them.
that, they can't get
no other way to get the test.
There's a waiting list of 10,000. By the time they get to it, there's no test left.
It really makes my blood boil when we're out here trying to work 10, 12 hours a day, trying to cover the work, making ends meet, living, and these guys are just all sitting down and selling tests.
We've identified test sites operating in Birmingham, London, Manchester, and the home counties. We were tipped off via BBC Your Voice about a tout who uses the name Ahadeen online.
Listen.
You, my students, think used one of your services and similar ones. We saw him offering tests for sale across the country, and so approached him posing as an instructor.
So I'm basically a reseller.
He offered £100 a month to buy our login details. He said he could sell our students tests for anywhere in Great Britain.
You're fraud.
Okay.
And we give them discount on test dates as well.
And he boasted about the number of driving instructors he was signing up.
Too many, man. I get about 2 a week.
BBC News. I'd like to speak to you about your driving test price scalping scheme. After tracing his identity, using payment details given to us by
Has to
a member
be
of the public,
those.
and matching that with other publicly available data, we figured out that Ahadeen is Anil Ahmed, a 34-year-old who lives in Luton. You've been running a driving test price scalping scheme for the last couple of years. That you pay driving instructors across the country about £100 a month directly into their bank accounts in exchange for their login details, which you then use.
You're fraud.
Loads of driving tests and charge people significant amounts of money for it. Is any of that untrue?
Everything you said is a complete fabrication.
That's a lie. They got you booked on they have you on a phone, brother, and recording.
They know that some instructors are involved in these schemes.
Listen.
They did say that any who are may be investigated and pointed to new rules expected next spring, allowing only learners to book tests.
So are you in the UK trying to get your driver's license? And you can't get a test booked because they're selling the test illegally and selling the test more than what you bargained for. So are you in the situation where driving tests offer instructors kickbacks and you're not getting your test to be done? Is that happening to you in the UK? Well, this is the reason why I had to come and shout. Okay, guys? So I never know that when you book your tests, somebody's going to say, oh no, you're going to sit in line to wait to book a road test. And when you get there in the queue, if you're going to do it legally, by the time you get through the thousands of people, you end up with no tests after you sit on the internet for so long, booking the book site for so long, trying to get the test. By the time you get to your spot, there's no test, so you have to go illegal route by buying illegal tests at £500 and more. You think that is right? I don't think so. All right. Now, remember the other day we spoke about the Stockton mass shooting at a birthday party. Remember? And I said to you guys, there was a shooting at a birthday party. And who nowadays days come out and do mass shooting, including shooting up the children? Remember we spoke about that? Well, there's a father come out recounting what happened at the birthday party. Let's get there. Okay?
We're also hearing from the families of those impacted. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has been on scene every day since the night of that tragedy, and he spoke to the family of the 14-year-old victim from Modesto.
Gabriel, tell us, what have they shared with you today?
Yeah, Chris and Laura, I sat down with the family of 14-year-old Amari Peterson. The word devastating doesn't even begin to cover it. That family gathered inside of this building on Saturday to celebrate the birthday of a 2-year-old. They would have never imagined that just 48 hours later, it would turn into a memorial for their own child. I want to warn you that the details the father shares about the final moments of his young son's life are simply gut-wrenching. Any father remembers the day their child is born.
He was just like the perfect gift from God.
But this father, Patrick Peterson, is now burdened to live with the day his son died.
All I can see is my son crawling on the ground and me trying to resuscitate him.
At just 14, Amari Peterson took his last breath.
He had one bullet hole right above his heart.
Amari and his family, a few of the dozens on Saturday who were just trying to celebrate the birthday of a 2-year-old.
I just heard gunshots, and then the shooter came in, and he came in. I turned my back, and I looked at him, and then I just started seeing him shoot. Sit down.
Patrick's daughter was grazed, and in the panic, before he could even react,
everybody running off, and then my son is just sitting there, just crawling, trying to get up. So I got my baby.
So the news never said that the shooter went in the birthday party. I thought the shooter was shooting from outside. So there's a kid birthday party and you go in the birthday party, start shooting? Oh, mankind, what is this world coming to? Seriously? All this time people have been talking about the Stockton shooting, never know that the shooter went inside the birthday party shooting. Thought it was just a drive-by. Oh, no. Let's continue.
I had to hop back over the counter, and I'm trying to see what's going on with him. I'm trying to give him CPR and the bullet, and he just got blood coming out his face, and it's just something that a father should never have to go through.
What no one should ever endure is now on a painful replay.
Every time I get ready to lay down, I'm like laying over my son while he's sitting there breathing, trying to breathe. Every day he would tell me, "Dad, I love you. Dad, I appreciate you." Every night, every morning. Every night, every morning, that boy would tell me he loved me.
Jaja.
A loving boy, a gentle soul, a life taken, and a community shaken.
He was loved by like so many people. He loved sports, he loved football, he loved basketball. You know, he ran a little bit of track. But overall, he was just a gentle soul. And I just can't see why God would let something like this happen.
And that is the question that so many people are.
Jaja. So from there, now after that, we get to understand from the property owner that this party was basically illegal. We get to understand that no birthday party not supposed to be at that place because the owner came out hiding and telling, no birthday party was supposed to be keeping at that spot. So let's get to the property owner and what he got to say about that day and the party.
Tonight, we are hearing from the property owner of the Lucille Avenue building where the child's birthday party was held. He did not want to be identified, but is shedding light on how that location was being used. KCRA3's Denton Cortez reports.
I own this since 2018. We never had any single incident or anything like, bad.
As the manhunt continues for last weekend's suspects in the deadly mass shooting, the property owner of the parcel where this all unfolded is speaking with KCRA for the first time.
I had a phone call from my tenants that, there is a lot of cars around right here.
The mass shooting that took the lives of 4 people and injured more than a dozen others, happening near Lucille Avenue, where more than 100 people were celebrating a child's second birthday party. The property owner telling KCRA that the original leasing intent was not being used how it was supposed to.
This property is not zoned for or approved for the banquet hall or party hall.
See?
That was illegal.
He tells KCRA News that the area was originally leased for office space and video creative purposes to Willie Collins of Monkey Space.
Even I learned after all this happened that there is some business like this running on my property.
How long has he been leasing from you for?
No, it's just a new lease. Maybe 4 or 5 months. 5 months.
Okay, so relatively.
5-6 months, yeah. That's it.
San Joaquin County telling KCRA3 that it never received a request to operate a business at the location. Although Collins disputing that claim, saying he applied as a nonprofit through the county. Were you aware if he put in as a nonprofit at all? Or
not really.
When you search the Lucille Avenue address, Monkey Space appears at that location on Google Maps. It kind of poses the question, how often are you coming out to check the properties? Or are you trying to?
I come at least twice a month. Twice a month.
And we did ask the property owner if we could take a look inside. He did decline, but tells us everything remains the same from that frightful night. In Stockton, Denzel Cortez, KCRA.
And as Den's interest reported, Willie Collins.
Oh, brother, From there, guys, we get to understand, we get to understand, say, one of the people that got apprehended in the shooting, but not saying that he did the shooting, had a jailhouse interview. Jailhouse interview. Let's unpack this one in regards of the shooting and the jailhouse interview.
We are now hearing from a man who attended that party. He says he saw everything that happened when the shooting went down. He, along with another man, were arrested for parole violations.
To be clear, they are not considered suspects in the mass shooting. KCRA3's Anahita Jafari sat down with one of those men, and we do want to warn you, some of these details are hard to hear.
25-year-old Billy Williams sits in the San Joaquin County Jail.
And they want to talk about my name. They want to talk about what happened. Tell them to talk about who carried the kids, not why they came. Because we don't know why they came. Because I wouldn't do that to somebody.
Speaking out about what happened the night of the shooting and his arrest 2 days later. Doesn't know why someone would shoot up a children's birthday party. Do you think you know who did this? He says he was there for his niece's party and thought he heard balloons popping, but really they were gunshots.
I just started to run after all the kids that I seen fall. And I started to carry them, and I noticed that when the police came that they didn't run to the kids. They were still pointing the guns.
He says his back was turned, so he didn't know who was shooting at them.
I couldn't believe it because I turned around and I seen the little girl fall. When I seen the little girl fall, I was like, this is like a movie.
Williams tells me when police arrived, he says they took a long time to get into the building.
I was like, the kids is dying, and they wouldn't listen.
In Stockton, I'm Anahita Jafari, KCRA3 News.
Williams told Anahita that all he cares about now is getting...
Could you imagine? So we thought all this time that there was a drive-by shooting, didn't know that the shooter went in the party and shoot up knowing that it was a child. When you get in there with the gun and you see all of these little kids, why not run back out through the door? Right? But I guess if you're a shooter, allegedly. It's troubling and disturbing for me, guys. But what can we say? All right? What is this world coming to know these days that people has to pick up gun, go to a birthday party and end up shooting all of that? All right? From there, guys, we want to talk about a few other things, and I'm going to wrap up this live. All of that. All right? Now, we want to go to a cold case situation where a Florida man was charged in the 1977 beach murder. So they said you could run, but you can't hide when you have forensic out here hunting you. So let's unpack this cold case, murder case that happened 1977.
Charges in connection with the murder of a woman whose remains were found on Gilgo Beach.
The case dates all the way back to 1997. Jessica Formoso joins us right now with a look at how the suspect is connected to the case.
Listen.
Good morning, Kurt and Tashani. 28 years after the bodies of a woman and her 2-year-old daughter were found on Gilligo Beach, the suspected killer appeared in a Florida court Thursday. 66-year-old Andrew Dykes was charged with murder in the second degree. During the court proceedings, we learned very little details. Now, we know Dykes, who has been living in Florida, was arrested on a fugitive murder warrant out of Nassau County. Newsday reporting the 66-year-old is the man wanted for the 1997 death of Tanya Denise Jackson. Jackson was known as Jane Doe number 3 and also referred to as Peaches. Her remains were found at Hempstead Lake State Park in June of 1990.
Not only her remains, her baby remains as well. And the uncivilized mutt went on and lived his life and thought he was going to get away with it. And look at you now, and you're 66 years old, and now you're going to go to prison for killing a woman and a child. Murderer, blood is on your shoulder. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? So let's continue.
7 other remains were found near Ocean Parkway over by Gilligo Beach, where her daughter's remains were found in 2011.
How do you kill a child?
Long Island architect Rex Heuermann, you see right there, was arrested in 2023 in connection with several of the Gilligo Beach killings and later charged with murdering 7 women. However, Heuermann was never charged with the killing of Jackson or her daughter. Meanwhile, yesterday in court, documents state Dykes fled New York. He said a few words to the judge yesterday when asked if he would agree to be extradited back to New York.
You can waive formal extradition proceedings and voluntarily agree to return to the state of New York to address the charges in the warrant. You're not waiving any defenses you might have to those charges. You're just voluntarily agreeing to return to the state. You do that by signing the document in front of you. After reading it, we would provide that to the appropriate authorities in New York, and they would come and pick you up. Those are your 3 options at this time, Mr. Dykes. Do you have any questions for me at this time?
Pick one, you bastard, because you kill a mom and a child.
What would you like to do, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to go to New York and defend myself.
Which this is it.
Now,
Oh, Judge.
extradited back here to New York. Now,
Look how young she was, man.
Jackson back in April. They said she was a U.S. Army vet.
Look
and
at that.
A mother living in Brooklyn at the time of.
A U.S. Army vet. That man killed her and the baby in 1997. We're in 2025 and thought he could have run and hide. All right? There's another case, there's another story, guys, where a remains was found by a dog, identified, and then the dog ended up dying after. Let's get to that, the remains that was found, okay? Let's unpack that. Quick and fast. Give me a second. 1 second.
Also breaking right now, the human remains discovered in Jefferson County, first found last year by a family's pet dog, have finally been identified. The coroner confirms they belong to this missing man, Curtis Taylor Jr. Now, Taylor, who was visually impaired, was last seen in February of 2024. The I-Team's Valerie Bell has been on top of this story and joins us live with the latest. Valerie, what have you learned?
Ashanti, this is a case that started with a dog bringing home a human skull. Now, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says that all of the human remains that have
People, instead of the dog bring home a stick, the dog brought home the skull. And that's how they identified this boy remained for the longest time he was missing. Could you imagine? The dog. Oh.
Found throughout this area right here behind me are a match to Curtis Taylor Jr. He actually lived just a few feet from the property where his remains were discovered. And tonight, the sheriff's office is now leading the investigation.
So if his remains can found minutes away from the property that he lived, that means that nobody didn't really do a search? Nobody cared about the disabled black guy, the way I see it? Because how can his remains, people, just be found minutes away from where he lived? But all this time they did the investigation, guys, they didn't even know that he was, like, they didn't even check to see if his body was there. I'm lost somewhere, guys. So they didn't realize that his body was there all this time? Could you imagine? I'm not surprised, but I'm a little bit shocked. Imagine that you're missing. Right? Imagine that you're missing. And when you hide now, your body is fine. Your skull is found by a dog. Right? Your skull is found by a dog. And nobody knew where you were. And it's the dog that brought home the skull. Did you hear me? It's the dog brought home the skull. And they found out that it was that missing disabled man all this time. So if the dog never go out there playing around, nobody would have cared really and truly about this guy. Let's continue to unpack this.
What exactly happened? The family of Curtis Taylor Jr. last saw him on February 6, 2024 at their
2
home
years.
on 5th Place Northwest in Center Point. Taylor was reported missing 2 weeks later. That same home sits directly across from the property where a family pet first made that shocking discovery last August.
It was crazy and shocking for us, especially for the first time. It was even crazier because it didn't even cross our mind that it would be someone.
On August 20th, 2024, Chicharine brings home a human skull. On December 12th, 2024, she finds a long bone, later confirmed as a left tibia. December 13th, the skull was ruled a homicide due to a gunshot wound. On March 4th, 2025, the Jefferson County Coroner's Office places a tracker on Chicharine. In April, another bone was discovered. Then, most recently, August 8th, yet another bone surfaces. A subsequent canine search performed by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office of a nearby wooded property discovered additional skeletal remains.
So therefore, the police have never sent out the dogs from before, from 2 years ago. So you send out the dogs when the remains are old and fragile. It's a regular dog go find us. So that means you guys didn't even do no proper search allegedly the way I see it. And we always know that a lot of times when a lot of us are missing, nobody give a shit allegedly. I find it odd that his body was found basically across from the property where he lived. And one dog does find those things. So if the police didn't really do their job, I believe this young man would have been found long time and buried long time. So I'm troubled and disturbed, but I'm not surprised. All right? Let's continue.
In September, during an in-depth I-Team report, Chief Deputy Coroner Bill Yates provided some insight into the DNA analysis, a process that takes months, and the steps being taken to find out who this person was.
We rely on law enforcement. So we encourage law enforcement to reach out to us about any missing persons cases they have.
See?
There is a national database. It's called NAMUS, the National Unidentified Missing Persons System, that the public has access to, law enforcement, coroners, medical examiners. So we use that to see also if any cases here in the Alabama area might possibly match.
It's unclear if Curtis Taylor Jr.'s case was flagged by the sheriff's office due to the close proximity of where he was reported missing
and where he
the
lived.
Remains were recovered.
Judgia.
Somehow I felt sad and also glad at the same time that he was.
To me, it's disturbing and troubling. This is a disabled man that died not too far from his property where he's lived. And the way I see it, the police falter, because how come the dog could find all of those bones and they did not? Right across the street from the property. I find that odd and strange, but it's not surprise, because a lot of time when we go missing and dead, nobody give a shit. It's like you on the back burner. Allegedly. Don't mix me. Seriously.
Identified, and hopefully his family can get information about everything.
Could you imagine?
Now, there are still many unanswered questions about this case tonight. I asked the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office for an interview. They declined. They said that the investigation is ongoing and that they have nothing they wish to share at this time. Now, also a sad update for Mahi has the
died.
Remains has since passed away.
See it there?
Live in Jefferson County, Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 IT.
So man remains found not too long, 2 years later, right across from his home. That means that nobody went to go and check the way I see it. And then the dog who found him, supposed to be a hero, end up dying. Can't take it anymore, people. It's a lot. But nevertheless, people, let's talk about some other things, and I'm just going to jump off of this live quite so, all right? So I want to talk about, is it this one here? Clerical survivor calls for end to charter references in sex offenses cases. So Tony Gribben, who was abused by F.R. Malachi, okay, says the Justice Minister should end or limit the use of character reference in sex offenses, all right? A survivor of a clerical abuse is called for the Justice Ministry to end or limit the use of character references in court, particular in the relations to sexual offenses against children. So do you guys agree? You guys agree that the clerical abuse is calling for the Justice Ministry to end the limit use of character references? You guys think that the government should do that? Do you guys think that the Justice Ministry should abide by this? Because, you know, when you're survivors of sex cases, it's a trauma and it's disturbing. And if he's that old and he's saying, hey, 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 do this and do that, then it tells you it's still bothering him quite so. So at the end of the day, if you're one of these survivors, my heart and soul goes out to you. And just be mindful that at the end of the day, your perpetrator, you have the right to prosecute your perpetrator. And you have the right to come out here and grieve how long you want to grieve. Nobody can put a limit on it because this is really disturbing and troubling. So that was the update I had for you guys with that. And all of that. Now, what else I want to talk to you guys about? Okay, nevertheless, let's unpack. So the other person we want to talk about in this content is The Official. Since The Official, I remember The Official came out about Jelani abusing her one time. There was a tape release that she was screaming, hollering, help, help, help. She went back to the boy, back and forth, back and forth. We get to understand again that she was living at a place that had no water. We get to understand that she was struggling not having car seat for those kids, but driving them in the car. We get to understand that Jelani's not paying no child support. Jelani don't really help, as according to D. We also get to understand that the in-laws them don't like her, and then they came out and put out her dirty clothes, her dirty underwear outside because Dee claimed that she gave Jelani the clothes them to wash for the children, and she made a mistake by leaving her underwear or her clothing in the belonging. We hear about a lot when it comes to The Official. We also understand that The Official one time was fighting, and then she said one by one they come up the hill and made a song for that. We get to understand that The Official always out here talking about F and sucking all this time. So we always, we're wondering, say, D left from being a married woman to almost a Jezebel, the way people will shout out here. The Official says that the baby mother of her ex-husband out here saying that there's all kind of picture out here with sucking and effing. So let's get to The Official. Imagine that you left from wife role to Jezebel to internet nuisance the last time I checked. But anyways, let's unpack this quick and fast. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to meet you guys for a second.
I can't take it no more. And then, probably after, me just expose everything myself. Because this boy want to have this over my head and me can't bother. Remember, everybody fuck, everybody suck good.
Not everybody.
Get to see me a fuck and suck good.
Oh, Jaja.
And when me I gotta do is, me not gonna hide the boy face. Me not gonna hide my face because him do a thing the other night, him screenshot the video and him send it to my sister. And me just feel like it's time for me just get it over with. Because him baby mother get up, little while, listen to me. Me there so me a man, me own a business, me not trouble nobody. Me left from Mandeville and me the far. Me left Mandeville and me the far, I'm been quiet. Me not send it or me not trouble nobody. The boy baby mother, I tell him lie, say, somebody close to me, I send her in penis, in which that's impossible. Because here's the thing. My phone is locked up. My phone completely locked up. You see, apart from the something forgot in my phone, you have a PS ID pull all my apps. So impossible for somebody to take out in picture out of my phone and do the most. But him been a me say him going to expose me.
You're there.
Because me posting picture on TikTok. So through me posting picture, him a say him going to expose me. So this is my video.
So it's troubling and disturbing then. If you married to a man and the man gone left you and you gone left the man, and until now we don't hear you filing for a divorce. We're waiting. So that means say you're separated from Jelani. and then you go pose a new man on TikTok, and now the man say he's gonna expose you, that means that the man didn't want nobody to know that you're on the man there. So you left wifey role to matey role, and man now claim you. Man is mad because you pose him up on internet and I go expose you sucking and effing. Make that make sense from you, the official? Girl, you gone down the drain. From you're separated from your husband. Lord have mercy, man. Seriously. Okay, guys? So we're going to go all the way. I'm not going to drag this out. I want to go all the way to about here. Right here.
The man tell me say you on him, the man tell me say you on him left. I post your man all the while on WhatsApp. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third. I post your man. Because him say my man. So I post your man because of our man.
You're there.
But guess what? Nobody want the man no more. I didn't want him up to all of this morning. Coming out like the boy, what did I say? Jesus Christ. Yeah. All the things them. Me love TikTok. Me give TikTok a long break. Me not do them something again. But girl, you come by me. Why you do that? You come like you figure to me and me whole heap of minions them. Post your picture and just tell me, baby, them say, baby, find out everything when I want to find out and get them to me and all of the things them. Remember, every girl have a dirty pass.
Not every girl.
Not every girl have a dirty pass, but me know yours not. Yours not so pretty. Fucking bright. Me see your girl, me not trouble you. What the fuck we not trouble me for? One girl named Paula, one girl named Anaki. We argued about the man. She me sit down for the man body, I suck the man cocky, and the man have videos with me and the man fuck.
So therefore, it's not your man. So the man have video of you, him a F and a suck, and him ready to put it out on the internet, and you have girl child. You know some dog shit, man. Seriously. Let's continue.
Me I suck him cocky and him say, post them. Yeah. It was everything. Fucking bright. Tell you to stay silent now.
But in Jamaica, there's a rules and law that if you post somebody naked body and naked parts, you could be locked up. So maybe you should go lock up the man if you don't really like the man, or if he's doing this unwillingly or blackmailed. You could be locked up the last time I checked, but nevertheless. Oh, D.
But being silent too, pussy clock long, that's why I not go on, so. See, all my showing no, I'm not showing too much people number. Yeah, girl, them have papers for man. They have papers for the man, because clearly they do. You should have shame of yourself. You want people for you want the video with me and your man a fuck for send out. You should have shame of yourself.
You should have shame
of yourself. You should have shame of yourself, girl. Because remember say, if him post it, remember me want to know, if him post it, and him face not in there,
me gonna lock him up.
blood clot post it with him face.
You're there.
And you post it, and him face not in there, me a post it with him face.
So instead of she said she lock him up, she gonna post it back. Post for
Everybody
post.
gonna know it's your man. Everybody gonna know it's your fucking man. Yeah. So how you gonna feel now? If you know say, me a fuck your man 1 year straight. I 1 year we a fuck girl.
You're
never
there.
Stop. Yeah. At first it never serious.
Still not serious. It's still not serious because if he's gonna expose you and put up if he's mad because you put him up on TikTok and he's gonna expose your sucking and effing, that means it's not serious. Him take you for a clown. You're just a F on the side for the year. The way I see it. Continue.
And then after a while you get exclusive. Loan fuck anywhere. Pop draws anywhere. Pull out cocky anywhere. Link where I said, babe, send me a picture. Picture send anywhere. I saw we are do it. I saw we are lick it. Big nice relationship. It's why we comfortable. It's why we happy. Yeah. You don't know nothing we are going. Yeah. The problem with Uno is when girl detect my man, girl, I cry, I vent, I feel everything. But I left. When me realize that I can't take the pressure, me left. Me left because I couldn't take the pressure, girl. And you know you don't stop torment me. You don't stop torment me. Me not torment you. Me not torment you.
The official left from wifey position to matey position and to expose of sucking and effing. What a cloth piece of carelessness. No ambitiousness, and you have daughters. Is this a good look? Oh my.
Alright guys, I'm going to tell you all the picture post now.
Listen.
Because the boy don't hate me already. And this is why me I do this. Him don't hate me already. So I just do the life.
So a soft relationship comfortable for a year and now the boy hate you within the year and the year not done yet. You were just a FD. You never meant it serious. Just a slam and go on. Me tell the girl them, me no play stocky. In other words, seriously.
Blood clot go. The boy don't hate me already, I have to protect him no more. Don't chat. Wanna talk to me, cause I want to know. The boy don't hate me already, you know. So me not have to protect him no more. Don't chat. Me can't just start now, though. Me can't just start now and just leg on the bird now and just do the things them. Don't chat. Alright, me going on story time. Story come to bomb now, we not chat. Alright, yeah, you know. Me and the boy a fuck 1 year now. Me I give him thick and short and nice and spicy. Make them come do for them things. Guys, me I tell you from now, enough message there with me, I beg him. Enough message with me did they call. Sometimes as I put on my clothes and go out, him start cuss me. Me not figure out here. Me not figure out way. So as I put on my clothes and go out, I pay a problem. So I will leave a message go there when me I beg him and me I ball and me I say, baby, me love you, me child. Yeah, will leave for that day. Will leave. Cause one thing me love a boy, I love a boy. I mean not like me did love the blood clot boy, cause the boy cocky sweet. Not tell no lie. What's when a fucking a condom a pira?
So you love the boy penis, but not his personality or what he can do for you and help you out, you and the kids and all of that. Just what he could fling underneath your foot. No morals, man. And you have children. Shaja, I know he's ready to expose you all the nastiness that you guys been doing in the bedroom. My God.
Piranis.
So you could be pregnant.
Yeah. So no know say me I go connected to that the blood clot, big body, sweet body boy there. Anyways, back to the story. You can't come cause some pussy big boy that me know cause big I fuck me every day. Anyways, alright, back to the Mighty God, the boy get me nervous. Man, girl, me not tell no lie, girl. Me no I mean understand when she fight, you know. Cause me not worry about the man too.
You're troubled and disturbing D. Gone from wife to matey. I'm not know why you.
One out. Anyways, guys, so as I said, the boy don't hate me already, so I can't just bust it up. I'm telling you, I give you a serious story now. When I laugh too much, calm down in the track. Serious story now. Alright, everybody knows that me and Jelani not there, right? And Jelani, the overseas. Jelani the overseas and Jelani have him woman. Just put that out there so you know.
I'm not saying nothing
Jelani
for the
have him
kids.
girlfriend. Me have my little man. Nobody they call me name for a couple of them and I sick. Now I just go on normal out and easy. Because here what go on. You see me is a single woman. And if I feel like I want to use my pum pum, I go use it because of mine. Argument done. I don't care how much man name I want to call for me. Me know where me know. Right? Alright, good. So, the other day, I draw for the 17 Pro Max. The other day, I show you stop mom. I go down in a Snapchat. My dear. The other day, my husband, God, my baby father come from foreign Sunday. Sunday, God, him come from foreign. And me go pick him up at airport. He asked if I come pick him up at airport. This was Monday. This a Monday.
You're a real man, Tete, you know. So the man not help you with the kids, I'm hardly beat you in the party and him not there, but you went to go pick him up at the airport. That's why Jelani do what he want to do because of you let him. D, you're sick, but it's not my business. Oh.
Monday track, Monday. So I go pick up my baby father Sunday and the boy hold me down and give me a piece of fuck. Well, he not really hold me down, you know, like me I tell him, skin it out and give him.
You're there.
One piece of fucking, you say, pay Icky, the boy give me a train. The boy give me a train, one old train at Icky. Old train. To be honest, me never really did like the idea because me I say, listen, even though me and the man not there, even though me and Jelani not there, maybe I'm have feelings and him a human being too, and me and him still married though. When he do there Jamaica, me here fuck and he kill me Icky not on the wrong, but when he there and we are fuck and he put Icky them for me to look one way, don't it? Alright. Anyways, what's a boom now chat and I go on normal out same way. Because I can't class the boy, I not bring down the boy now. If you want to go class me, I bring me down, then we go there. But I not class the boy, I not bring down the boy because as bad as things they, that boy they never try to disrespect me or style me yet.
He disrespect you. He told you he's gonna post your naked pictures that you essing and essing, sucking and effing. So that's a big disrespect. But nevertheless.
Now him move like him is a menke. Because he look like them tie you, you know. He look like them tie you. Anyways, I go so boom now chat. Pull me after Icky now to tell me if my reaction was justified. The boy pull me after Icky, the boy send me home to the man. Not really send me home to the man because remember Jelani live with me. But remember we have 3 picnic together and Jelani just come Sunday. Him just come from foreign Sunday. So Jelani now go in yard and Jelani come back. When Jelani come back now, Jelani come back up in me with P. Icky. Jelani get mad now. Jelani I say no. I fuck with that dog. Because at the end of the day, I'm still your husband. And it's not cute to see so much icky on your neck. You understand that disrespect? Regardless if you have your man and me have my woman and we know say each other have whatever, it just a give one fuck up vibe. Like like him I say, like how they make him feel. You know why we the kind of glad to, yeah, me kind of glad to come here and say, what? Fuck are you, yeah, man, bunny blood clot, you. So now we the kind of happy, tell no lie. But
the official,
this is terrible. Could you imagine? But anyways, we're not gonna drag it out on the big carelessness, yes? Let's drop this. Little progress each day can add up to big results, yes? Don't miss opportunities, regrets, or the one thing time doesn't heal. Work hard. How hard you work is one of the only things you can control when trying to be successful. Don't compare. Don't compare yourself and where you are in your life to anyone else. Tell the truth. Trust is everything. Keep your word. If you tell someone you're going to do something, then do it. No excuses. Stay calm. Stay calm when one else can. When no one else can, just stay calm. Let it go. Don't let your past decide your future. Okay, guys? From there, we're also going to drop this Sunday, a day to refill your soul and be grateful for your blessing. Take deep breath and relax. Enjoy your family and your friends and a cup of coffee. Peace and love until we meet again.